Now it's recording. It didn't go deep. You know, there's a beep. So I found an eye that looks like it's nice. So I was saying earlier on, the first order of business is to try and remove the excess fatty tissue that pads the eye. And it looks like the eyelid is over here, the palpebra. So I'm going to kind of trim that off. Make sure when you're trimming off the palpebra or the eyelid, you're not trimming off the extrinsic eye muscles. You know, you must make sure that you're not doing that. So I try to make sure. Oh my God, looky here. There's a bit of muscle behind here. So I do that. You know, I just have to kind of make sure that I'm clearing all this fat. Make sure that and I'm gonna need a scalpel. There was a scalpel that was so sharp in that drawer there. My God, I just barely touched that cornea, and that cornea is very tough, and it cut it right through. Oh crap! You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful because most of these, they tend to be blunt, and so I was kind of like, whatever. So I really put in the pressure, but it ended up cutting like more than I had bargained for. You know what I'm saying? Like butter, like a hot knife through butter. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's tan, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna remove. And when you're removing it, if it's tough, try and cut it off, because if you try to keep pulling it off, it's gonna remove with it the extrinsic eye muscles, which we don't want. You see what I'm saying, my good friends? So there's that. Now we could see most of the retractor bulbi. We could do that. We could see that. Yeah. Okay, very good. Do we have a trash that I can trash this? Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Looky here, my excellent friends. So what did we say? You see what I'm saying? It's slippery, and you know, you don't want to be using a scalpel and make it your main cutting instrument. So what did we say? We say you look at the short side. If I could hold it, that would be great. Okay, so this is a short side and that's a short side, and you can see this short side. Looky here. There's only one, so you know it's gonna be the medial side, right? Because remember we said the medial side. There's the nose bridge over there. There's all the nasal sort of structures there. So you cannot pack more muscles, so you can only put one. So that's the rationale you could use to remember that the one short side with only the compass muscle is the medial side. Okay, if this is the medial side, then boom, voila, this has to be the lateral side, correct? You understand? And on that lateral side, on that short side, the other short side will have two muscles. One at the compass point, which is going to be the lateral rectus, and one at a oblique angle, which is this. And it's pointing towards one of the long sides. You understand? So just by looking at this one short side with the two muscles, you can tell that it's the lateral side, number one. If it's the lateral side, then obviously the other short side has to be the medial side. Okay? Plus, the oblique there is going to be pointing towards one of the long sides, and it's the inferior oblique. Okay? It points to the inferior side. So it points to the long side, which will have only one muscle, like this, at the compass point. You understand? And that would be the inferior rectus. If this long side is the inferior rectus, then the other long side has to be the superior rectus by default, correct? And then you will prove that indeed is the superior rectus, because you will see it's the one long side with the two muscles. One at the compass point, which will be the superior rectus, and one at an angle, which will be the superior oblique. You got it, my good man, one. You understand? But, you know, this has been pulverized a little bit. It's been cut off, but there's remnants. There's remnants. Do you see it? Do we all agree that this is a separate muscle, and it's kind of going towards this? So this will be the superior oblique. You know, I was telling the other group yesterday, and this will be the superior rectus. Okay, if you were human, you would be done, because the human who doesn't have the retractor bulbi, correct? This one, which is the retractor bulb, it literally retracts the eyeball when this animal is grazing, and maybe there are twigs in the area, and you know, to limit damage to the eye, it will retract the eyeball inwards into the orbit, so that it doesn't get too much damage. Okay, so that's the reason for that, and we don't need this muscle, so we don't have it. Okay, we just have the 6. Okay, so my good friends, let's go again, and you should chime in if you know it before we make the first incision on the cornea, and then we go to the sclera to make it the second incision. Okay, so what would this be? Lateral rectus. Thank you so much, my good man. Lateral rectus. What is this? Superior rectus. Superior rectus. I'm going in random order in case you didn't notice, to make it interesting so you don't get bored. You know what I'm saying? Because in the exam it's gonna be just like that. I'm not gonna point them in order. I'm just gonna point 1 or 2 here. So you have to know that if it's a short side and there's only one muscle there, or there's 2 muscles there, like this one, this is the lateral rectus, because you've got this, right, on the compass point, and then you got this, which is the inferior oblique, pointing towards the long side here. And so this one is the inferior rectus, okay? And this one is the medial rectus, because it's the other short side, medial rectus. You understand? Okay, and then this one, after we have picked this inferior side and with this inferior rectus, we will confirm that this long side is indeed the superior side, because we will find 2 muscles there, one at an angle and one at the compass point. So this is the compass point muscle, which is the superior rectus, right? And then this one, of course, would be the, I know it's itty bitty, but at least it's something, because it's the best one I could find. Okay, superior oblique. Do you see how the superior oblique is kind of going this way, even though it was really cut? But you could still see that this is a second muscle, and it's attached to its own connective tissue, and it's heading in a different direction. And you can see this compass point, the muscle has got the straight fibers like this, correct? You see what I'm saying? So the superior rectus. And then, of course, because this is a ruminant animal, this is going to be the retractor bulbi, correct? And then being, what is this? Cranial nerve number 2. You understand? Optic nerve. Okay, optic 2, okay. So there's that, and this will be part of the brain exam, because in the brain exam I'm going to ask about the cranial nerves, I'm going to ask about all the external structures of the brain, and I'm also going to ask about the internal nuclei, or the internal parts of the brain. You see what I'm saying, my good friends? Okay, very good. So what we're going to do is close this video. Should I make the cornea cut? No. Let's just close it so that it's not too long here, my good